There's a moment, one single decision that can completely change your life. Not tomorrow, not someday, right now. You are one choice away from a totally different future, a future with more passion, more freedom, more power than you ever imagined. But here's the truth, most people never make that decision. They wait. They hope. They play it safe. And that's why their life never changes. If you've ever felt stuck, if you've ever looked in the mirror and said, there's got to be more than this, then stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what that one decision is and how to make it today. This isn't motivation, it's transformation. Let's go. I want you to picture someone, maybe it's someone you know, maybe it's you. They wake up every morning to the same alarm, they hit snooze, they drag themselves out of bed, already tired of a life that doesn't excite them. They drive the same route to the same job, surrounded by people who've stopped dreaming. And deep down, they know they were meant for more, but fear whispers, what if you fail? So they stay, they settle, they trade their potential for comfort. They convince themselves that someday they'll take that leap, start that business, make that change, but someday never comes. Because indecision is the silent killer of dreams. But here's what they don't realize. One decision, one single moment of courage could flip the entire script. It's not the big steps that change your life, it's that one bold choice when everything inside you says, I'm done playing small. That's the moment everything shifts. Let me tell you what happens when someone finally reaches that breaking point, that moment when enough is enough. There was a man I once met, let's call him Michael. He had a good job, steady paycheck, benefits. From the outside, everything looked fine. But inside, he was dying a slow death of mediocrity. He'd look around the office every day and see people just like him, talented, capable, intelligent, yet stuck in a routine that never truly lit them up. Every night he'd drive home in silence, thinking, is this it? Is this all there is to my life? And then one night, something snapped. He was sitting in his car, engine off, staring at his hands on the steering wheel, and he felt this wave of truth hit him. If I don't make a change now, this will be my story forever. That was his decision moment. Not loud, not dramatic, just quiet, absolute certainty. He walked into his home that night, looked at his wife, and said, I'm done existing, I'm ready to live. Now, I'm not saying he quit his job the next day, this isn't a Hollywood movie, but what he did do was make a decision that rewired his identity. He decided that fear would no longer be the driver of his choices. So he started a side hustle. Nothing glamorous, just something that made him come alive again. He'd work on it every night after his kids went to bed. He was tired, yes, but for the first time in years, he was alive. He told me later, Tony, it wasn't about the business, it was about who I became the moment I decided I wasn't trapped. That's the magic of a decision. It's not the action itself, it's what the action represents. Because when you make a true decision, not a wish, not a hope, not a maybe, your identity shifts instantly. You stop saying, I want to be that kind of person, and you start living as if you already are. You see, every transformation in life begins with one simple yet terrifying step, choosing courage over comfort. Maybe for you, that decision isn't about quitting a job. Maybe it's about finally leaving a toxic relationship, or starting that fitness journey you've been avoiding, or calling someone you've been afraid to forgive. Doesn't matter what it is, because the principle is universal. Your destiny changes the moment you decide who you're no longer willing to be. You can't rewrite your story while clinging to your old identity. You can't step into your next chapter while still living in the last one. When you decide, truly decide, you kill off every other possibility. That's what the word decide means, to cut off. You cut off the escape routes, the excuses, the backup plans, and you step fully into your power. Let me ask you something. What if, just 1 year from now, you look back and realize that today was the day everything changed? What if this was the exact moment when you drew a line in the sand and said, no more playing small, no more waiting for permission, no more living beneath my potential? Because that's how real transformation happens. Not when the circumstances change, but when you do. Michael didn't wait for the economy to change. He didn't wait for someone to hand him a better opportunity. He became the kind of person who creates opportunities. And that's what happens when you make one powerful decision. You start living from a place of creation, not reaction. You stop being a victim of your past and start becoming the author of your future. I've seen it thousands of times. People thought they were ordinary until they made an extraordinary choice. A woman who walked out of a marriage that had stolen her spirit. A young man who faced his fear of failure and launched his own business. A single mother who decided to stop surviving and start leading. Every one of them started with the same feeling, fear. But they also discovered something bigger than fear. The power of decision. Because fear doesn't go away. You just stop letting it be the boss of your life. When you step forward, even trembling, even uncertain, something miraculous happens. The world rearranges around your conviction. Doors open that you couldn't see before. People appear who believe in you. Energy floods your body because your soul recognizes movement toward truth. That's what happens when you decide. And maybe right now, you're sitting there thinking, yeah, Tony, that sounds great for them, but my situation's different. No, your story isn't different. Your excuses are. And that's okay, because that's part of being human. But deep down, you already know the truth. You've had the power all along. It's not about resources, it's about resourcefulness. It's not about waiting for the right time, it's about making now the right time. Every great comeback story, every success, every transformation started with one person who finally decided to stop waiting for permission and start living with purpose. Michael told me something years later that I'll never forget. He said, that one decision didn't just change my career, it changed the way I saw myself. I used to think I was a guy who got lucky when things went right. Now I know I'm the kind of man who creates his own luck. That's identity. That's power. That's freedom. Because the moment you stop identifying with your limitations, you start identifying with your potential. And once you do that, life starts to bend toward you. You start to attract people, opportunities, and experiences that match the new standard you've set for yourself. Not because the universe suddenly likes you more, but because you finally started playing at the level you were meant for. So, let me ask you one final question. What's your decision moment? What's the one area of your life where you've been waiting, hesitating, pretending you're not ready? Is it time to finally take that leap? To forgive that person? To launch that dream? To look in the mirror and say, I'm done settling? Because right now, in this moment, you have a choice to keep living by default or to start living by design. And when you make that choice, truly make it, everything changes. Not someday, not eventually, instantly. Because the most powerful force in the human personality is the need to stay consistent with who you believe you are. So when you decide to change your identity, your entire life reorganizes around that belief. You stop being the person who hopes and become the person who acts. You stop being the person who fears and become the person who leads. And that's when life stops happening to you and starts happening for you. So remember this. You are not one step away, not one dream away, not one opportunity away. You are one decision away from a totally different life. And that decision starts right now. Right now, this is your moment. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Not when things calm down. Now, because nothing changes until you do. Your life won't magically shift because you read another book, watch another video, or wait for the perfect opportunity. Change happens the moment you decide to take back control. When you say, I'm done living small, I'm ready to rise. Listen to me, there's a reason you're watching this right now. Out of billions of people in the world, you're here. That's not random. That's your soul saying, pay attention, this is for you. You've been waiting for a sign. This is it. So let's get real. What's the decision you've been running from? The one that's been whispering in your mind every night before you go to sleep? The one you keep pushing aside because it feels too big, too risky, too uncomfortable? You already know what it is. It's the thing that scares you because it's the thing that could free you. You see, comfort is seductive. It tells you that safety equals happiness. But comfort never created greatness. Growth does. Courage does. Decision does. Every person you admire, every legend, Every success story, they all faced that same crossroad. They were scared. They doubted themselves. They didn't know how it would turn out, but they decided anyway. And that's what separates the ones who wish for a better life from the ones who create it. I want you to feel this right now. You've got the power inside you to change your story. It's not out there, it's in here. The energy, the strength, the passion, it's already in you. It's just been buried under years of fear, doubt, and other people's expectations. But the moment you decide, truly decide that you're no longer available for mediocrity, everything shifts. When you say, I'm done waiting for someday, I'm done playing small, I'm ready to live the life I was made for, that's when your identity upgrades. And your identity is the foundation of everything. Because you will never outperform your own belief about who you are. You want more abundance? Decide you're someone who creates it. You want better health? Decide you're someone who values it. You want deeper love? Decide you're someone who gives it freely. Everything starts with a decision, and that decision starts now. So here's what I want you to do right now, not later. Take one bold action today. Not next week, not after you figure it all out. Today, send that message. Apply for that job. Launch that idea. Have that conversation. Walk into the gym. Sign up for that class. Whatever it is, move. Because action is how you prove to your mind that you're serious. You don't need confidence to start. You build confidence by starting. When you move, even in uncertainty, you send a signal to your brain that says, we're doing this. And your identity begins to shift instantly. That's the secret. Transformation doesn't wait for clarity. Clarity comes from movement. Now listen, there's a moment in every person's life when they stop asking, can I? And they start saying, I must. And when your should become your must, that's when destiny takes over. So I want you to declare it right now, out loud, if you can. This is my moment. This is my time. I decide who I become. Say it again. Feel it in your body. Because repetition with emotion is how we rewire the brain. You're not just saying words, you're commanding your identity to rise. Remember this truth. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not your fear. You are the decision you make right now. The decision to grow. The decision to love. The decision to lead. The decision to step into the life you were created for. Because here's what I know. Once you make that decision, once you cross that internal line, life will never be the same again. You'll start attracting opportunities you couldn't see before. You'll meet people who match your new energy. You'll wake up with purpose instead of dread. Not because the world changed, but because you did. So don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for someone else to believe in you. Don't wait for the fear to disappear. Make the decision. Take the leap. Create your new life one powerful choice at a time. Because everything you've ever wanted, the freedom, the love, the joy, the success, it's all waiting for you on the other side of one decision. And that decision starts now. Decide today who you're going to be, because your destiny isn't written by your past, it's written by your next decision. So stand up, take a breath, and say it with me. I decide, I commit, I create. Because I am one decision away from a totally different life. Listen, your entire life can change with one decision. Not someday, not when it's easy, now. That fear holding you back, it's not there to stop you, it's there to test you. Every great life started with one bold choice, to stop waiting and start moving. So whatever it is, quit the job, start the business, make the call, take the leap, just decide. Because your destiny isn't written by your past, it's written by your next choice. Say it with me. I decide. I commit. I create. You are one decision away from a totally different life, and that decision starts right now.